Imagine waking up not understanding those around you. How do you get through the day? Not easily, that's for sure. These are just some issues faced by the deaf and hard of hearing community. In less than 60 years, you or someone you care about will lose their hearing and possibly more. Listen well. In order to help deaf and hard of hearing individuals, we need to learn ASL, also known as American Sign Language, in order to have basic conversations with them. I went to public school with at least one deaf individual, and due to the lack of education, was never able to have a proper conversation with them. I've used the Delta College Library databases, Google Scholar, and more in order to research. First, we will review technologies that exist that are relied on by the deaf and hard of hearing community. Then I will go over accessibility issues affecting deaf and hard of hearing individuals. Then I will explain how learning ASL benefits both your life and theirs. Then I will provide a solution on how we can make this happen. Many who are deaf or hard of hearing have issues in life that they cannot control. Let's look at how we can increase their quality of life. Thankfully, there's technology that can help them, but it's not always best for everyone or always reliable. First, automatic speech recognition systems exist, which are systems that recognize what someone says, translate it into words, then display it onto a screen in order to help people know what is being said. According to the Federal University of Amazonians, there is a 50% error rate when these are applied to audios or productions. For easy to obtain proof, just listen and watch the subtitles as I talk. Second off, another technology that exists are websites which purpose is providing subtitles to shows, movies, and more in different languages. Many of these exist, however, most of them require you to download subtitles. GetSubtitled.me and EnglishSubtitles.org both require you to download the folder they have of subtitles for what you need. Some websites, for example, OpenSubtitles.online, appear to allow you to watch the show automatically, however, redirects you to different websites. Even though these exist, they are not always accessible or easy to use. I have just informed you about two of the technologies that exist that would be helpful, however, accessibility issues are still faced. Most of us expect when going somewhere like a hospital or a restaurant to be understood on what we want or need. However, this is not always the case for those who are deaf or hard of hearing. In a study done by Linda Sutz, Linda Salvador, and Oliver Laplace, that was based on Sindoreski and Lehman suggested and constituted criteria for reporting qualitative research, 9 deaf male patients were asked about the most recent hospital experience. All of their feedback was negative. They experienced lack of communication, uncertain what was happening to them, that they were discriminated against, and that they were treated as if they were children or stupid. In day-to-day life, many communication issues like these exist. According to Wadra M. and Alwick Seatsay, directors of Western Canadian Centre of Studies in Deafness, people in minorities such as ethics and deafness face many issues. Communication barriers, lack of recognition of needs, inappropriate service delivery, lack of information of services, and many more. Most people in hearing or majority groups don't always see or understand these accessibility issues that these individuals face. As it is easier to see about issues than hear about them, I will now show you a clip from the YouTube channel Sign Duo of a deaf person attempting to go through a drive-thru. Now that you understand some accessibility issues, I will explain how learning ASL benefits you as well as the deaf community. Learning ASL can have many benefits to both hearing and deaf hard of hearing community, with more people knowing at least some ASL. In a study done by the Early Childhood Education Journal, they researched how dual coding affects children while in learning. Dual coding is learning with both a verbal and nonverbal code. In this example, spoken English with American Sign Language. There were 3 groups, 2 of which were shown a video. Group 1 saw a video with both codes. Group 2 saw the video with only audio, aka spoken English, and then the last group was not shown the video. They had to take a literacy test both before and after the video was shown. It was found that Group 1 that was shown both codes had more gains than the other two groups did. A decent amount of people tend to lose their hearing to a few factors, one being age. According to Hilary Bowman-Smart, a PhD candidate associated with University of Melbourne, learning another language is a life goal for many. She explains that as people get older, they tend to lose their hearing. Due to not knowing sign language, this transition is much more difficult than it would be if they and others knew ASL. Now that we agree that ASL is needed, let's get to how to make that happen. We can first start by implementing ASL in public schools. We could do this as early as kindergarten with signs such as the alphabet, numbers, yes and no, bathroom, hungry, thirsty, and days of the week. This would make it easier for those with speaking and hearing difficulties to communicate their needs. Another way we can make learning ASL accessible to students or adults would be in college. Students using FAFSA or financial aid currently can only take what is required by their degree. However, as ASL is needed in many careers at one point or another, it would be highly beneficial if FAFSA was able to cover sign language courses. Today I explained to you that technology already exists, however it's not always reliable. Second off, I explained to you how accessibility issues exist that deaf and hard of hearing individuals face. Third, I explained why learning ASL would be beneficial. Lastly, I provided ways that we can make ASL accessible to everyone and provide deaf and hard of hearing individuals a better life. We need to be able to learn ASL in order to give everyone a better and fair chance in life. Remember, if you see someone trying to communicate through their phone, notebook, they may be deaf or hard of hearing, please communicate with them in a way they can understand and don't get louder.